Oh hey, what's up? Welcome to my summer crib. It is finally finished. There are a couple little baby tweaks that'll need to be made to make sure that I can still fit all of my art show stuff in here that I need to, but the build is complete. I have a nice comfy bed. I have little drawers. I'll have other art stuff under here. I have my lovely IKEA shelves that I can stick stuff in. We're looking good. I'm so happy. This was like the biggest part of the project that needed to be done. The last thing I need to do is I am getting a hitch attachment, a carrier basket just to put on the back of my car for a couple of the bigger items, but we're good. We are done. It was a headache and a half. I definitely cried trying to make this stupid platform, but it's good. I am proud of it despite how frustrating it was. So here we go. I'm gonna tell you all about finally getting this sucker put into my car. Let's go. Welcome to my floor. We are testing the square footage, essentially, of the back of my Jeep with all my art stuff to see if it will fit or not with me inside of it. And so far, I'm losing some hope. I don't know what I'm gonna do. This is getting a lot more complicated than I thought. So this is essentially where we are at. This area is measured out to the back of my car. So I'm very easily using the edge of this carpet, which is really nice. And then the couch is acting as like my front seats. So I do have a little bit of space where I might be putting those just because I have the space there. But if I do that, I lose some headroom. So we'll see. We will see about that. But this is kind of what we're looking at. So I think it'll work. It's gonna be tight. And there's gonna be a lot of gear that has to go on the roof. Looking at a bunch of my scribbles. Essentially, I tried to list out everything that I would need to bring. I have like a general map of where it'll all go. But this is gonna be a tight squeeze. So one thing I've considered doing is actually storing all my paper photos in something more like this. I'm gonna have to measure things and I'm gonna have to do some window shopping to see what I can find, but that may be a better option than all these random like boxes that are kind of different sizes, because there's also that box that would just sit out and it's gonna just fly around in my car while I'm driving around, and I'd rather see if I can try to condense some things down. I don't know if it'll work. This is getting trickier than I thought it would. So I just got done at Walmart. I grabbed a couple storage bins. I'm gonna test my theories a little bit. I'm gonna see if I can maybe move my art stuff into those bins so that they can all slide under the bed and I can just make a panel that goes all the way across the back of the car. If that's the case, then all those boxes are gonna take up room under the bed, and that may take up room that I had set aside for like my clothes and my kitchen stuff, and that stuff has to go in the car somewhere too. So this whole process has been a lot harder than I thought it would. I'm not gonna lie. I was very much hoping that it would just be easy, but that's not how life works. So I just want my art stuff to fit in the car with me, and yeah, that's becoming very tricky. I don't want to get a trailer. I don't want to have to haul a trailer. If I can just keep it all on or in my car, it's a win. Okay, so I'm pretty sure we got it figured out. These pillows are acting as the wheel wells because that does take up about 4 inches of room on each side. I have managed to fit all of the art stuff under the bed, and then I'll still have room for clothes and kitchen supplies, and then these blank spaces will most likely hold my weights for my canopy so that my art tent doesn't blow away when it's windy. But yeah, I think it's looking good. welcome back to the back of my car. Haha. So it is officially build time. I just removed the bottom of my seats. They were screwed in here. This is just the top, and then the bottom seat like folds up. It's so much more like space. I can like store stuff down there now, which is great. So I'm excited about that. A little bit more space to work with. I have figured out my plan for the build, so I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to Home Depot first thing in the morning tomorrow and get the plywood, the 2x4s and the screws to start screwing this all together, and I'm gonna get some drop pins because I found this cool version on YouTube where basically the panel is split in half so you can access your back seats still, which is kind of cool. So we're gonna do that model because even though I'm not necessarily going to be using these back seats, under this is all my jumper cables, my tire jack, all my important fix my car stuff is under the back seats here. So if I need to get to them, being able to like lift half the panel off and move it would be so much easier than like having to pull the whole sucker out. So that's the plan. So we're gonna do it. Step one, unscrewed. I also have my pretty little blackout curtains officially up. I also redid my seat covers because my old ones literally ripped and were not working anymore. So it was time to put some new ones on. They're cheap, but they do the job. Let's do it. It'll be fun. So here we are, a car full of wood. And I may have measured wrong, so that sucks. I'm kind of having buyer's remorse a little bit. So when I measured from like kind of the skinniest part of my back seat, which is like what I should have done, right? Well, I didn't take into account the actual opening for the back of the trunk. The opening is only 48 inches. Though I measured like the width of like the smallest part to be about 52. So yeah, that was kind of frustrating because that meant that when I had to cut everything down to the size that I needed, I actually had to buy 2 pieces of plywood, which I didn't really want to do because that was like, yeah, that's like an extra 30 bucks that I spent that I probably didn't need to spend now that I think about it, because the plywood pieces are 4x8. So that's 48 inches wide, and instead of cutting it down the way that I did, I could have just left that as my width instead of thinking that I needed the extra like 5-6 inches. And I debated, I was sitting there in the store like, should I just like take the whole width? Like I really want it to be the whole width. Well, yeah, we're dumb and it's fine. It's fine, it's fine. So I think it'll be fine at 52 inches. Getting it in the car will be the interesting experiment. So I just got home and I'm gonna put some groceries away first, and then I'm gonna figure out if this works. If not, I'm gonna be pissed at myself for being dumb. Well, it's too big, and I spent an extra 30 bucks I didn't need to for no reason. Awesome.
just pull out the single screw.
Well, the problem is the wheel well is rounded, so they're not going to sit flat. It's probably better to just move them in. All right. Several hours and a couple meltdowns later, we have final product. Da, 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 da. Isn't it beautiful? Seriously, I cried a couple times. Let me tell you, looking up builds on YouTube, I know you're here, but it's not recommended. Every car is different, and trying to replicate another car's build, you run into your own weird quirks and kinks. So with this sucker, I started out, I measured wrong. I measured kind of the widest part of my bay, but didn't really take into account getting it actually through the door. And even cutting it down to the 48 inches, I still couldn't quite get it through the door when the legs were on it. So yeah, hey. Yeah, that's always awkward, filming in your front driveway. Anyway, even after cutting it down to 48 inches to theoretically get it through the back, I still had to go through the back seat once the legs were on it. So yeah, that's okay. But then we ran into a problem. You see, I have wheel wells that get in the way that I kind of forgot to take into account for. So when I put the legs on initially, they didn't exactly fit because the wheel well was in the way. So I had to move the legs in, which meant I had to completely re-drill my holes for the second panel too. And so the design I found for this was one that I imitated where it was like some drop pins for the second panel so that I can move it. I'm not going to demonstrate it right now, maybe later. But the idea is that second panel comes up and I can just scoot it over so I can get to the back seats, and yeah, but it is done. I've laid on it, it can hold my weight, and I'm tired and I need food. So we're going to take a food break because I am freaking starving.